Stop wasting your time, ladies. If you value yourself, these 5 types of men are poison to your self-worth. Find out why self-respecting women never settle for them. Meet Lena. On the outside, she had it all: a thriving career, a beautiful home, and a circle of friends who admired her strength and resilience. She was a classic overgiver, someone who always believed in the potential of others, especially in her relationships. She thought she could fix any man, elevate him to the life she had worked so hard to build, and they would live happily ever after. Her past relationships were filled with these moments: a man who lacked ambition but had potential, so she helped him launch his business. Another, a man who struggled with his health, but after weeks of cooking healthy meals and motivating him to work out, he looked better than ever. But every single time, after all the effort she put in, there was no love. No gratitude. Instead, betrayal. The first time it happened, Lena thought maybe she was just unlucky. She worked tirelessly to help a man with a toxic past who promised her a future. After months of support, he walked away the moment he became successful, leaving Lena questioning everything about herself. She thought she was just being too emotional. She tried again. Another man. This time, he came from a broken home, and she put in every ounce of her energy to fix him. He started seeing his worth, became financially stable, and then, he left her for someone else, someone better, or so he claimed. The heartache became too much. Lena found herself in an endless loop of giving more, loving harder, and constantly being let down. Each man she helped, built up, or supported would only take her for granted, leaving her even more broken than before. The mental anguish was unbearable. She was losing herself in the process, but she couldn't see the pattern, not at first. She convinced herself that she was the problem, that maybe if she gave just a little more, loved a little harder, it would work out. Lena reached a breaking point. She was at a crossroads in her life, sitting alone in her car one rainy evening, tears streaming down her face, holding on to a message from yet another man who had promised her the world and then betrayed her. It was at that moment she realized something pivotal: she wasn't the problem. It was never her love, her loyalty, or her efforts, it was the men she was choosing. She had been living in a fantasy where her love could fix everything, but she wasn't giving herself the love and respect she deserved. Lena began her journey to reclaim her self-worth. Slowly, she learned that not all relationships were worth fighting for. There were men who weren't worthy of her time, her energy, or her heart. And that was okay. She had to learn to identify the red flags, the ones that told her that these men would never be able to meet her standards. It was a painful journey, filled with self-reflection, but in the end, it was the most empowering transformation she would ever go through. Radiant Rebels, Lena's story is a testament to the power of self-respect. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less than what you deserve. In this video, we'll dive into the 5 types of men that self-respecting women never date. These are the men who don't align with your worth, your energy, or your values. Let's get into it. 1. The emotional vampire. Let me tell you about the emotional vampire. He's the man who always seems to be in a crisis, always needing your attention, but never offering anything in return. The worst part is, he doesn't even realize how much he's draining you. You might spend hours listening to his problems, supporting him when he's down, and even comforting him during his bad days. Yet, when it's your turn, when you're feeling low or overwhelmed, he's nowhere to be found. He's constantly seeking validation, attention, and comfort, but you end up feeling empty after every conversation. It's like he's sucking your energy out, leaving you mentally and emotionally exhausted. You're giving and giving, but he's taking without any reciprocity. Radiant rebels, this type of man doesn't value your emotional well-being. A self-respecting woman knows when it's time to pull back and protect her energy. You should never have to feel drained or depleted in a relationship. If someone isn't willing to offer the same level of care and support that you give, it's a sign it's time to move on. Don't let anyone take more from you than they give. If you're finding value in this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We have so many more empowering tips for you. 2. The commitment-phobe. The commitment-phobe. You know the type, the man who avoids anything that even remotely resembles a real relationship. He'll date you, sure, but when it comes to labels or any conversation about the future, he gets cold feet. "Let's just see where things go" is his favorite line. But here's the problem: when someone doesn't want to commit, they're telling you they don't see a future with you. A commitment phobe is afraid of being tied down, afraid of fully investing in something real. He's happy with the casual status quo but avoids deep conversations about exclusivity or taking things to the next level. He might even go as far as saying, "I'm just not ready for a relationship right now," but deep down, he's simply afraid of giving you the commitment you deserve. Radiant rebels, don't settle for this. A self-respecting woman knows she's worth more than someone who can't offer a clear and committed future. You deserve a man who's emotionally available, who's ready to show up for you, and who's excited to grow with you. Don't waste your precious time with someone who can't give you what you need. 3. The nice guy with a hidden agenda. You know how it goes, the nice guy who seems perfect on the surface. He's polite, charming, and always there when you need a shoulder to lean on. But here's the catch: his kindness isn't truly selfless. It's transactional. He expects something in return, whether it's validation, constant attention, or control over your decisions. At first, it feels nice to be treated with such care and consideration. He brings you flowers, listens to your stories, and makes you feel special. But eventually, you start to notice the subtle strings attached to his kindness. If you don't give him what he wants, whether that's undivided attention or meeting his emotional needs, he becomes resentful or manipulative. His kindness is just a means to an end. Radiant rebels, don't fall for this disguised manipulation. True kindness doesn't come with strings attached. A high-value woman knows that real love is not transactional, and you shouldn't be made to feel like you owe someone because they did something nice for you. If you sense that there's an agenda behind every kind gesture, trust your instincts and walk away. 4. The hot and cold man. This man is a master of unpredictability. One moment, he's texting you nonstop, making you feel like you're the only person on his mind. He's affectionate, caring, and he makes you feel like everything is going perfectly. But the next, he goes silent. Maybe he doesn't respond to your texts for days, or when you finally do hear from him, he's distant and withdrawn. You're left wondering what went wrong. This back-and-forth emotional roller coaster leaves you questioning everything. Was he really into you, or were you just another passing distraction? He has this way of keeping you on edge, constantly guessing where you stand. And the worst part is, you're stuck in this cycle, feeling confused, hurt, and emotionally drained. Radiant rebels, This type of man thrives on keeping you uncertain. But uncertainty has no place in your life. You deserve a man who is consistent and clear about his intentions. If he can't give you that consistency, then he's not worth your time. A high-value woman doesn't play emotional games or let someone else dictate the pace of her life. It's time to let go of that emotional chaos and move forward with someone who values you enough to be stable and reliable. 5. The self-centered king. This man is all about himself. He talks about his career, his achievements, and his goals, but when it comes to you and your needs, he's either absent or dismissive. You might find yourself constantly adjusting your schedule to accommodate his, always making sacrifices for his dreams, while he barely notices the efforts you're putting into the relationship. He's self-absorbed, and the relationship becomes more about him than it does about the both of you. He expects you to be there for him, but when it's your turn to lean on him, he's nowhere to be found. Radiant rebels, this man isn't a partner, he's someone who takes without giving. A high-value woman knows she deserves more. She deserves someone who is equally invested in her goals, her dreams, and her well-being. A partnership is meant to be a two-way street, not a one-sided journey. If he's not willing to invest in your happiness and support you the way you support him, then it's time to move on. You are worthy of a man who sees you as an equal, not as someone to serve his needs. As a radiant rebel, you deserve to have a relationship that lifts you up, supports your goals, and respects your values. You are worthy of someone who treats you with kindness, consistency, and care. Never settle for less than what you deserve, and always remember that your time, love, and energy are valuable. If you find yourself in a relationship with any of these types of men, it's time to reevaluate. Your self-respect comes first, and only when you respect yourself will others do the same. High-value women know their worth, and they never settle for less. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more empowering tips on building healthy, high-value relationships. You deserve the best, radiant rebel, and we're here to help you find it.